What's up, y'all? We are back. I am Miss Megaliana, and welcome back to Be Fck'n For Real, unfiltered takes, unapologetic truths. I hope y'all had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope y'all had an amazing November. As for me, your girl was sick as fuck, which was why there was no stream. But baby, we are back. And we are here and we about to get into some things. So we gonna start with, I think, one of the biggest train wrecks that I saw over Thanksgiving. And I don't understand why people ain't more upset about it. All right. So on Thanksgiving, Ray J ended up getting arrested. Okay. And he got arrested for allegedly, now he bailed out, but he got arrested for allegedly pulling a gun on his estranged wife, Princess Love. And this happened on live stream on Twitch. Now, I saw the video. I clipped up and kind of summarized a little bit of it. So we gonna get into this disturbing video.
Like, I'm not, like, ain't nobody taking my kids away from me on Thanksgiving, bro, on the down. What you trying to do? Take my kids?
I'm getting my kids.
Okay, take your kids. Drive drunk, princess.
Right, you just
Drive
pointed,
drunk.
You just pointed a gun.
Drive drunk.
You just pointed a gun.
Drive drunk, princess. Go ahead. Driving. Everybody, I didn't point nothing at
you
y'all.
You pointed a gun at us.
I didn't point nothing at y'all.
You pointed a gun at us. You're a woman abuser.
You're
and
drunk.
You're delusional.
I'm a woman. That's
yes,
what drunk
you
people
are.
say. Take my son. Hey,
don't touch him.
Hold on, bro. I swear to God, I'll shoot the fuck out of you.
Shoot
y'all
me
get
right
out
now.
my house.
Shoot
y'all
me
get
right
out
now.
my house.
Shoot me right now.
Bro, I swear to God,
Shoot me right now.
Take my son.
No.
I hate you over the fucking head, bro.
Hey, you supposed to be family.
No, get the fuck out of here. You do it in my house.
Hey.
Bro, stop, dog. I'll kill you, bro.
Stop.
I'll kill you,
Stop.
I'll kill you, bro.
Stop.
Okay.
I know you will, but stop. I'm trying to help you out.
All right, cool.
We good?
Yep.
Literally, they're about to pull up right now. Let's chill.
Cool. All right, cool.
Literally. Yep, we cool. All right, let go.
What the fuck? And like I'm not laughing at the situation because I'm a survivor of domestic violence. So that's something that I take very serious. But what bothers me is that it doesn't seem like anyone is taking that as serious as they should. And it sounds like he really pulled a gun on her. And he was threatening her cousin, I'll shoot you right now. I'll shoot you right now. He's not saying that because there's some like imaginary gun. And to me, it's like, domestic violence and any form of domestic violence is not entertainment. And even like afterwards, when he bails out, he goes live and then to tell his side of the story and explain what happened, and then she has to go live to tell her side of the story. And it's like, this is something that should bring shame. Like, there is no reason why that should have been that he should have been that comfortable on Twitch, on stream, talking like that and conducting himself like that. Like, it doesn't make sense that that's acceptable behavior. And part of the problem is their brand as a couple has been nothing but chaos and abuse, like even from their arguments on Love and Hip Hop. And that's part of my problem with Love and Hip Hop and a lot of the reality shows, is that they create a safe space for all types of abuse, whether it's domestic violence, like everybody just be fighting, and friends be fighting, and lovers fight. And there's been situations where you've seen men like on Love and Hip Hop hit women and they just edit it out. So when you look at, like, they've created this brand of domestic chaos and domestic violence, it's like the issue is that somebody could have really gotten hurt. Like, you can tell it looked like he was intoxicated when it looked like in the beginning of the video he was sipping something. And listen, I done been around a lot of alcoholics, okay? When somebody is drinking straight from the juice bottle, they probably already mix whatever liquor in there, and that's just they shit. They don't even need a cup, okay? But you can tell that he gets intoxicated on his lives. You can tell that he was intoxicated in that moment. Somebody needs to step in and help this man. Like, where is the intervention? Where is the accountability? Because if he really did pull a, and I'm only saying this because it's alleged and you can't actually see the gun on camera. If he really did pull a gun on her while she was holding her kid, their kid, imagine if it would have accidentally went off. Because if it would have accidentally went off, then that's when people are, comparing shit and saying, "Oh, protect women, look at the red flags, look at what happened here," and da 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 da. That's when people would be piecing together things that happen on Love and Hip Hop and different live streams, and just that's when it's too late, that's when people care. And that's the problem when it comes to like domestic violence, and when domestic violence is treated as entertainment. It's not funny. And I'm not saying he should have been canceled, right? Because he's had such a long-standing career of chaos that it's like you probably can't cancel Ray. And what can you cancel Ray J from? But I think the problem is people love watching people spiraling out of control. And bring back shame. Bring back, there used to be the saying where it's like, what happens in the house stays in this house. Don't nobody need to know family's business. And I'm not saying that that level of violence is something that should be a secret, but when people have normalized dysfunction, and yeah, he got banned on Twitch, but there's so many other platforms that he can still stream on. And the problem is that there's no reason, and that was my problem with him going live, right? To explain himself, right? Because an abuser always got an excuse. But it's like there's never a reason to pull a gun on your estranged wife and her cousin because y'all getting into it on Thanksgiving. And I'm not saying he should get jail time. I'm not saying that, something bad should happen to him. But I do think that as a society, we really, really got to stop normalizing domestic violence as entertainment. Like, we got to do better next year, because I don't want to hear shit when something goes bad, because that's the only time people seem to care. On another note, so it came out this weekend or over the holiday that the woman, Jamie Booker, who was awarded world's strongest woman alive, has actually been disqualified because she was born a man and did not disclose she was trans. And because of that, second place runner-up, Andrea Thompson, she was actually crowned. Now, here's my thing. First and foremost, I want to say that you have the right to feel how you feel. You have the right to identify how you want to identify. So I want to make that clear that this is not a trans bashing segment, and this is not a trans bashing opinion. I believe everybody has the right to feel how you feel, claim what you want to be, identify how you want to identify. It doesn't affect me, right? But when it comes to sports and women's sports, that's different. And part of the reason that Jamie was disqualified was because she did not disclose that she was born a biological male. And the rules are clear that athletes can only compete in that category, in their category that corresponds to their sex assigned at birth. Now, another thing that was suspicious with Jamie that I read was that she actually had only competed in like 2 years worth of the women's competition versus a lot of the women that were competing in that competition have made that career. They have been in this for like years, like not 2 years, but like some up to a decade. Some, they've been training for this 15, 20 years. Like this is their lifestyle. And this was a moment that a lot of the biological women that were competing had really worked to get up to in their bodybuilding career. And the runner-up, who was Andrea Thompson, she was given her rightful title. And she made a quote, like she made a statement when she was awarded. And I want to highlight something she said. And so she said, like, and I quote, "I'm not only frustrated with not being able to celebrate a win, but also for ladies who had their time to shine on the podium or reach the final day taken away from them. My fellow competitors have since received backlash and insults for just being women. They are mentally drained by defending themselves from unwanted opinions. This needs to stop." And that's my issue when it comes sometimes to the the fight for trans rights to be in women's sports. Because when it comes to taking up spaces and taking up opportunities that were created for women, when you're dishonest about what you're doing to even be able to compete in that category or in that sport, at that point, that's just you using misogyny. And like, I think that a lot of times, if you have been able to live your life as a man, right? Like trans or not. I'm saying if before you realized you were trans, you were able to live your life as a man and experience the privilege of being a man, I think that you are prone to being male centered. Um and even when it comes to, there's a reason that in some sports, if you were biologically born a man, you should not be competing against women, especially if you have had that time and gone through puberty. Because once a biologically born man has gone through puberty, his body composition, his muscle composition, his strength, it does not compare to a woman, which is why women's sports were created. So there has to be a point where trans women who are men that have transitioned to women, I hope I got that right, accept that it's an unfair advantage when they're playing sports against women. And to me, what's the honor in that inclusivity if you just beat a girl? Like it to me, that's not, I don't understand the equality in that, or how you can feel like you won fair and square when you have already biologically, gone through the chemical change that gives your body an advantage over that woman. And again, this is not a personal perspective. This is not like a personal opinion. This is just based off of the biological composition. And you have, I think that's sometimes where things get lost in the discussion, is that it's like, you as a woman, I should be able to say like, hey, that's not fair. Like if I played a sport and I lose it because of somebody else who is biologically stronger, faster, has a different muscle density than me, like I'm gonna be pissed. And so I think like there has to be a line of balance, and it's not about transphobia. It's not about, I don't know, women phobia. I don't know. I don't even know what that word would be. But I just think that there has to be a come to Jesus moment where it's like, trans men or men that are transitioning to women should not be competing against women in women's sports. And I don't think that, now, I don't like when people are offensive about it. Like when it comes to the current Trump administration and the way they use slurs and the way they're disrespectful, I think that's wrong. And again, like I am very respectful. Like, be what you want to be. It ain't got shit to do with me. I don't really give a damn. But when it comes to sports, if I'm playing in that sport, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay? Like that's just me. That's just how I feel. And I'm not even a sports person. Like I don't even play sports, but if I did play sports, baby, I would be pissed. But that's all I got to say about that. I don't want to say too much because, I ain't trying to have none of the comment warriors come at me, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next topic. So, Mike Epps. Now, Mike Epps, he had to apologize for something that he said when he was on Jim Jones' podcast. I don't see what was wrong with what he said. But I'm a play the clip and then I'm gonna go into my spiel on it.
I'm talking about black trauma for
that trauma is serious
for black men. All these niggas is gangsters running around talking this street shit. Straight trauma. Nigga.
Went through a lot.
Been through hell.
100%.
You get them niggas to cry, be on the side of the building crying they heart out. Because and that's what they do for our youth. We have to start targeting and gearing, celebrating those journeys. Those are the wrong journeys to celebrate, young men. There's no reward for coming home after 30 years. You don't get no fucking care package. You are a failure. Get your ass out here and help these kids. Nigga. Pay that back forward. You see what I'm saying? That's the reward. That's real shit. I'm talking about black.
I don't see why he needed to apologize. I don't see what was wrong with what he said, because what's wrong with saying you should not be rewarded when you come home from doing a 30-year bid? First of all, if you serve 30 years for something, it was probably pretty fucking bad. Like, you didn't go to jail or get convicted for 30 years for I'm not even going to say that. But if let's say like you go to jail and okay, sometimes you didn't do it, like, yeah, then in that case you should be celebrated. However, what he said was not offensive. Now, it might have been a harsh truth, but I think that's the problem. A lot of people don't want to hear harsh truths. And comprehension is at an all-time low. There are reports on it, like it is what it is. And what stuck out to me is that no one heard his overall message. And first thing he did was address trauma, the trauma that Black men experience, and the trauma that really leads, Black men down that path. It's a lot of hurt. It's a lot of things that, Black men witness in these inner cities and in, places where they're crime ridden, to where it's like, it makes them think that, okay, this is normal, that the trauma is normal. But what he's saying is that when you celebrate someone who is released from jail for inflicting trauma in their neighborhoods, and someone that's released from jail for contributing to the cycle of trauma and contributing to the prison pipeline, you shouldn't be celebrated when you come home. And as a people, I think, but the thing is that, with social media, and I think, this, I don't want to sound like I'm old, but I'm a millennial, but I think like there's this new generation, and especially with social media, a lot of people want to play devil's advocate, and a lot of people want to say, like, make excuses for bad behavior. But when you are a menace to society and you have contributed to trauma, you do need to put good karma in the world. Like, what was wrong with what he said? But that also plays into, like when you see people and they be like, oh, free little whoop-de-whoop or whatever. And it's like, oh, what'd he do? Oh, he got 3 bodies on him. That person is a serial killer. You can address the trauma in the inner cities. You can address the gang violence. You can address the school to prison pipeline. Like, you can address everything that happens and have compassion for what happens that leads to these situations. But you also have to address the karmic debt, and wanting to tell kids, yo, just because you see that person getting celebrated when they come home, that's not a good thing. That's not a path you want to go down on. And the fact that people would rather make excuses for that's what contributes to things not changing. When you and again, he apologized for the delivery, but again, why do people need a soft delivery? Who gives a fuck? If you do something and someone says, hey, you shouldn't be celebrated when you come home, so fucking what? It's just an opinion, and it's somebody that is trying to at least hold their people accountable. But another thing is that, people be celebrating the come home part, but there's nothing fun about prison. And again, I have some of my best friends that have served long bids in prison, and I loved them when they were there. I loved them before, when they were there, and when they got out. And they got out and they have just completely turned their lives around. And they can tell you how many people turned their back on them while they were in there. And a lot of times it be the same people that be at the coming home celebration that wasn't picking up their calls, wasn't going to visit them on their birthdays, that wasn't even sending money on their books. So it's like, if you're going to celebrate something like that, then be honest about the situation, but also be honest about the repercussions of it, because it's a cycle and it contributes to the trauma. So that's it. That's all I gotta say about that. That's the realest shit Mike Epps probably ever said, or some of it. And, people always want to have somebody apologize. But the problem is, see, we don't be holding the right people accountable for their shit, too. And when I say that, I am talking about this unqualified alcoholic right here. So, okay. There's been this story I've been hearing all week about war crimes. Peak Hegseth did a war crime, whatever. And I was like, okay, y'all know me. If you watch, if there's something going on, I'm gonna do a little research of it because it's like I like to know what I'm talking about, and I think things happen so fast it's really hard to keep track. So basically, um, the main lesson of all of this is that mediocrity costs lives. And I say that because this guy right here is the Secretary of Defense, right? So he is the one that gets to give orders on, hey, if they're going to go to war, if they see something, he's the one that gets to say, hey, shoot them down. And he gives the orders to the generals and people that are actually way more qualified and experienced than him. And it's important to note that he literally is he got the job because he was a Fox News host that talked good about the current chief in charge, Orange Man. And he doesn't even have the years in to even grasp the role that he has in, the Department of Defense. Now it's the Department of War, and I'm gonna get to that. But basically, so what's been going on is since September, the United States has been dropping bombs on suspected drug traffickers in the Caribbean on the Venezuela coastline. Now, on September 2nd, Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody aboard a suspected, not confirmed, but on a suspected drug smuggling boat. It's important to note that Congress has not given the permission for us to even be at war with Venezuela. So we really shouldn't even be dropping bombs because we don't even have they don't even have the authority from Congress to do that. But we know they just do whatever they want. But I digress. And so after the first strike on this boat, there were 2 survivors. And when there were 2 survivors, that's when Hegseth gave the order to kill everybody and finish them off. And it's a war crime because you cannot just off people who are incapacitated, shipwrecked, or surrendering. These people, they probably couldn't even surrender because they're not even they don't even know they're being attacked or under war. Now the issue is that it's very, very clear that this administration does not care about any law. They don't care about law. They don't care about order. They don't care about court orders. They don't give a fuck. They're going to do what they want, when they want, how they want. And it's pretty much just been la 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 la. Everybody takes it. And I don't even think that an alcoholic that is a former Fox News anchor is even knowledgeable of what defines a war crime, and I doubt he even believes that he'll be held accountable for it. And that's the problem, is that not only is he drunk off vodka, he's drunk with power. And when they changed the name from Department of Defense to Department of War, to me, that was like a clear sign that this was someone who was about to just starting shit, doing whatever. And it was clear when he don't care because he posted this meme where it says it's Franklin targets narco terrorists, and it's the turtle. It's a meme book of the turtle shooting down at people. These people do not care. And what's worse is that it doesn't these are lives. And it's important to note the United States have killed around 80 people in the Caribbean since September. 80 people. And there is absolutely no proof that these people are smuggling drugs. Some of them are just fishermen. Like there were 2 men who were, I think, from Trinidad, and they were fishermen, and they ended up surviving the blast. But the frustration I get comes from, this is like just adding to the list of crimes, like crimes against humanity, crime, like this is a war crime. Then you have ICE, who is just kidnapping people, citizens or non-citizens. They're just literally kidnapping people on the street. When you see ICE, and you know how they be shooting people and spraying people in the face. And then when you see what's happening with DEI and civil rights and all those rollbacks, it's like there is no fucking accountability for any of these people. And that's what pisses me off the most, because it's another thing where it's like people are actually, like, people are dying. People are literally dying, and they're gonna have him, they're gonna do the Senate, that thing where the Senate testimonies where people have to like testify before Congress and the House, and they're gonna have the committee investigate. But I am so tired of watching these congressional testimonies when they do absolutely nothing. And that's the issue right now, is we have seen a year of these people in charge doing whatever the fuck they want, hurting whoever the fuck they want, and now killing whoever the fuck they want. And there's no consequences and repercussions for that. I know that when, like, after the Holocaust, there were the trials. I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong, so I'm not even going to say it, but there were the Nazi trials. And even now, like, if someone is found to be like a Nazi, they are tried and prosecuted for the crimes that they committed during the Holocaust. And sometimes I wonder if the things that are happening in this Trump administration are going to lead to it, its own version of those trials. But just like in Nazi Germany, there were plenty of Nazi generals that got away with it. Hitler died by suicide. And, conspiracy theorists say that he never even died. He faked his death. And so it's like, what does justice really look like going forward with this administration? Because, and again, let's look at my last story, where it's like, we're talking about, the school to prison pipeline and trauma in, that Black men deal with, and the PTSD from growing up in certain neighborhoods and seeing certain things, like, and being, held accountable for the street crimes. But then you have these political officials who see no form of accountability for their crimes. And that's where it's like the hypocrisy of it all comes in, because as a people, it's like, okay, we're hearing he's committing war crimes. We're hearing that, oh, this shit happened and this is wrong and that is wrong. And we keep hearing, seeing senators and congressional officials say, well, this is wrong. And I'm so fucking tired of seeing press conferences. I am so fucking tired of seeing these, cases and these cases come up where they sue the administration and they make a little bit of progress. And then next thing you know, it goes to the federal and the Supreme Court, and then it's all turned around. It's like, how much chaos, how many lives have to get lost before somebody steps in? Like, there's a whole United Nations Council that I think we're still a part of. When are these motherfuckers gonna do something? I don't know. It's kind of annoying. And I feel like every time I stream, like, there's always this, like, really big thing that's happened, and all we do is just talk about what happened because it just happens, and then something else happens, and then it's like, oh, here's a new thing that happened, yet nothing happened with the last thing. But it's a sign of the times, it is what it is. But that's why you got me here to at least, talk about it with you and, tell you what's going on, do my little research, share my little opinion. It's an unfiltered take and an unapologetic truth, but that's what it is Be Fck'n For Real. We just keeping it straight because there's a lot of bullshit going on, and at least this is a safe space to talk about it. So on that note, we will be here every Monday in December and every Thursday on TikTok for the month of December. So Be Fck'n For Real. We going hard for the last month of the year and gonna be streaming twice a week now. Okay, so I will see y'all. Make sure y'all go to TikTok at Miss Megan Liana, the same at that's on this YouTube page, and follow me over there because I will be going live this Thursday. All right. I am Miss Megan Liana, and it is so good to be back from that little sick break. Y'all gonna be stuck with me a lot this month, but we gonna make it work, all right? I'll see y'all next time.